Meanwhile, the Supreme Court overnight rejected a request by Texas abortion providers to block a new law banning abortions in the state as early as 6 weeks into pregnancy. Now, 6 weeks is before many women know they're pregnant and before almost all abortions usually take place. The law also incentivizes individuals to file lawsuits against anyone who helps a woman obtain an illegal abortion, offering a monetary reward to plaintiffs who win. Rachel Scott has the latest from Austin.
Overnight, a bitterly divided Supreme Court breaking its silence and a 5-4 decision refusing to block a new Texas law that bans nearly all abortions in the state. Chief Justice John Roberts breaking from the conservative majority on the bench, joining the liberal justices in dissenting the move, calling the Texas law not only unusual, but unprecedented. Across the state, protesters called on the high court to step in and stop the ban. But in an unsigned opinion, the conservative majority said the abortion providers who challenged the law did not address complex and novel procedural questions. And so as of today in Texas, the law stands. A physician may not perform an abortion if a fetal heartbeat is detected, which could be as early as 6 weeks into a pregnancy and before some women even know they are pregnant. And there are no exceptions for rape or incest, only for medical emergencies. Justice Sonia Sotomayor, writing in her dissent, the court order is stunning. Writing presented with a flagrantly unconstitutional law engineered to prohibit women from exercising their constitutional rights, a majority of justices have opted to bury their heads in the sand.
And Rachel Scott joins me live now from Austin, Texas, with more on this. Rachel, the Supreme Court ruling seems to revolve around how this law is enforced by citizens rather than the state. So can you unpack that a little?
Yeah, you're exactly right here, Diane. This law does not empower the state to enforce this. This empowers private citizens to enforce it by allowing anyone in the United States, not just here in Texas, anyone in the United States could sue someone here in Texas who helps a woman get a now illegal abortion if a fetal heartbeat is detected. So we're talking about suing doctors, even suing Uber drivers that may transport a woman to an abortion clinic. And the reward, if successful, could be at least $10,000. So that could put a real financial strain on a lot of these abortion clinics, on a lot of providers. It could bankrupt them and force them to shut down, Diane.
You're in Austin. How are people in Texas reacting to this?
You know, there were protests here right in front of the state capitol, all the way from Austin to Houston just yesterday, calling on the Supreme Court to act. And the lead attorney that was challenging this case told ABC News that he was holding out hope that the Supreme Court would respond and sort of put this case on hold. Obviously, this is now a new reality here in Texas that women are waking up to. Texas is the second largest state in the nation. And now for the majority of women here, they're going to have their abortion rights restricted, Diane.
The court ruling doesn't say that this law is constitutional. It's more about the fact that it's enforced this way means the court thought they didn't have a position to block it at this time. So where does the battle over this law go from here?
Yeah, it's a really important note that you're making here, because even though the justices, the conservative justices, not including Chief Justice John Roberts, did vote to keep this and let it stand here in Texas, they did say that they were not weighing in on whether or not this law is constitutional. And they also said that this still leaves the door open for other legal challenges. But I can tell you the big concern from advocates that we have spoken to is that this law will now be a blueprint for other states. Throughout the country right now, you have 12 states that have tried to ban abortions for women in their first trimester. All of those have been held up in court. Texas is actually the first state where this has been successful. And so now many advocates fear that many people are going to be looking at Texas and trying to replicate this exact law, Diane.
And Rachel, there are other laws in the country that are set to go before the Supreme Court, even before this one likely does. So the court is due to take up this issue one way or another. But I wonder, in the meantime, how much pressure does this put on President Biden and Democrats in Congress now that they have the majority to take action and pass a law on this? And what would that look like?
Right, and all eyes are on the Supreme Court. We know that in the fall they are going to take up a case that will look to the fate of Roe versus Wade, that landmark decision, that case coming from Mississippi, which banned abortions at 15 weeks, and so they will be weighing in on that. But there is so much pressure right now on Congress to possibly pass some type of law that guarantees a woman's right to abortion in this country, maybe in the first trimester, and establish women's rights that way. We heard the White House press secretary call on Congress to act. But look, the reality here is also Democrats are now getting a lot of motivation to come out and vote ahead of the midterm elections and also in the next presidential elections. It is notable, Diane, that all three of the justices that former President Donald Trump appointed to the bench sided with Texas in this to keep this law on the books.
All right, Rachel Scott in Austin, Texas. Thanks, Rachel.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.